We all know how to love. I don't really need to teach you how to love, possibly remind you how to love from a space of being a little bit more clean. When we first meet a friend, we're more open, we're more accommodating. Then after a while, we start to get a little too me, and we start getting a little on the selfish side if we don't pay attention. So how you show up at the very beginning is how you want to continue it. So now that you're aware of this, when you meet a friend and you have strong boundaries, you got to start out of the gate with those strong boundaries and not just change the game as it goes along so it suits the real you. And if I meet somebody and I go out on date 1 tonight and he wants to go to a steakhouse and I'm not into steakhouses, but I'm like, yeah. And he wants to go bowling and I'm not into bowling, but it'd be like, oh, that sounds like fun. So what I'm doing is I'm not being authentic. Then after a while, it's just like, I don't like steak. I don't like to bowl. And it's just like, so who are you? Because the one that I started dating really liked that stuff. So to be healthier, to be stronger, to just kind of let them know up front. It's like steakhouses are not necessarily my favorite place to go. And to be honest with you, I'm just not into bowling. Oh, okay. Let's go do this. So it's to be authentic. Because if you start something out of the gate, you got to maintain that. It's not fair for you to catch him, grab him, rope him. And if you were a man, it's not fair to be all this amazing and then slowly start to change your colors. That's why it doesn't work out. You want to be authentic. And you can have boundaries, and they need to know that. I'm going to meet a girlfriend for lunch this weekend, very first time. And it's just like, okay, 1 o'clock. And just to be honest with you, I'm going to be there 1 o'clock, if not early. I'm pretty detailed with time. How about you? And she's like, oh my God, I'm always late. And it's like, that's going to be a little bit of a hiccup for me. I'm going to be right up front. Let's go to a Mexican restaurant. Okay, that sounds fine. I only go to Mexican restaurant once a month because maybe it doesn't agree with me. So authentic right out of the gate, you'll be so much more successful. You won't be living a lie. You won't be distorting this date so that it works out well. And how you start it is how you're going to finish it. So many people say that he was so amazing when we first dated. She was just so sweet when we first dated. And then 6 months into it, and then when the day after the wedding, her true colors came out, his true colors came out. I finally actually got to meet the person that I thought I knew for the past year or two. So we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to be authentic. We're going to be real. We're going to watch how we show up. And it's just like, okay, I'm being super duper nice. And no, that feels good. That feels right. That's who I want to be. So then perfect. Stay super duper nice. And then if you start to change, then maybe he or she is not the one. And or maybe you are actually lying and distorting to yourself. Because I'd rather you pull the plug, cut the line a little bit more earlier than the game than way into the game where things get a little bit uglier. So take a couple deep breaths. Can you change? That's why we have tomorrow, to become better and better each and every day, to learn about ourselves well before we learn about anybody else. I'm really a nice person until nice doesn't work. I'm really kind and loving until kind and loving doesn't work. And a cute story, I ran into one gentleman at a Mexican restaurant. I looked at him, I'm thinking he looks familiar. And he walks up, sits down beside me, of course, and he said, I remember you. You weren't very nice to me last time. And I looked at him and I said, I can accept that. I was authentic. I was real. Apparently not too mean, or he wouldn't have been sat beside me. But I want to make sure that wherever I go, whatever table I sit at, that I represent the fullness of me, of Diane, so that when people have an opinion, whether they like me or they don't like me, that they've got the true facts and the true data, and that I didn't distort, lie, or play anybody. And then that's when you can build solid relationships and or bounce out of poor relationships a lot faster. And so now let's start to talk about how to stay in a healthy relationship. And that again is to be who you are. Check in with yourself often. Correct your own behavior. And see them for who they really are. And ask uncomfortable questions. I'll do a video on that next. Deep bow and thank you.